On this board, we're talking about financial wellness for high school students. So if you are a high school student, this message is for you. Let's jump right in. Number one, monetize your passions. Monetize your passions. What does that mean? Well, first, what are your passions? What are your passions? What do you enjoy doing? What would you do for free, right? What would you do if money was not an issue? What problems of this world are you the most passionate about solving, right? What makes you truly come alive, right? What really personally fulfills you, right? What lights you up, right? What makes you happy, right? Think about those things. What are your passions, right? Because success does not lead to happiness. Happiness leads to success. And really, your happiness, your passion, the things you enjoy, right? Your calling is tied to that. Your calling in life is tied to your passion. And so the first step with all of this is to figure out what are your passions, right? And monetize your passions, meaning churn your passions, your skills, your hobbies into a business, right? Um, because really, every business, every hobby, every skill, every passion that you have is a potential business. You just have to package it and market it in a way that brings value to other people, right? So number one is monetize your passions. Monetize your passions. Number two, master your skills. Because you see, raw talent, right? Raw energy, raw talent is not enough. It has to be trained, honed, and developed. All right. Talent plus diligence plus stamina plus steadfastness plus consistency equals mastery, right? To truly master something, you have to train it, you have to hone it, you have to develop it. Money follows mastery. Money follows mastery. In order to master your skills, you must optimize your health, though, right? You must optimize your health. So, what are some things that we can do to optimize our health? Well, number one is to manage our time well. We have to manage our time well. Practice good time management habits, things like plan out the night before your agenda for the next day, right? So for every day, plan out the night before your to-do list, your agenda, right? Because you go into the day focused, right? So plan the night before your agenda, right? Also have a good morning routine, because how you start the day will really set the momentum for the whole day. So it's so important to have a good morning routine, right? Take time in the morning for self-care, right? In the morning, every morning, take time for self-care. Have a good routine where you are taking time to do things that will promote your physical health, your spiritual health, your mental health, right? Your emotional health, right? Do things, have a good morning routine. Also, time blocking is a great time management habit, right? Where as you're working on different projects, you want to really focus and have different time blocks where you set aside a certain amount of time to complete a certain task, right? That way you can get really focused, by using time blocks, right? We talk about exercise. Exercise is important, right? You got to exercise. You have to in order to really perform at your peak, right? In order to really optimize your health, you have to invest in all areas of your health, including your physical health, right? Also, nutrition, right? Be very mindful and intentional regarding the foods that you're eating, right? Self-care is so important, right? All this is related to self-care, right? Being able to really invest in caring for yourself. Because here's the thing, if you're able to really practice good self-care, then you're going to be able to serve others well, right? In other words, what I'm saying is this: in order to serve others well, you must practice good self-care, right? Self-care is not selfish. If you're doing self-care for the purpose of optimizing your life so that you can adequately pour into other people, you know? Self-care. Boundaries are important. Boundaries are very important. Now, what are boundaries? Well, one way to think about boundaries is this. Boundaries are like your personal set of rules that I wrote it down. Wait a minute. Personal. Yeah, there you go. Personal set of rules that help you to optimize your health, right? Boundaries are like a personal set of rules that help you to optimize your health. So, for example, a boundary would be like, okay, every day you make a decision that you're going to start the day with a great morning routine, right? And so you have a boundary where you are not going to take any phone calls, you're not going to do any other type of work until you do your morning routine, right? Until you're able to, set some great momentum for the day, So it's like a boundary. It's like a set of rules that help you to optimize your health, right? A boundary could be about sleep. You might say, look, you know what? No matter how busy you are, no matter how busy your life gets, you're going to prioritize getting enough sleep because you realize that by getting enough sleep, you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to be the most productive, right? So it really pays off to invest in getting enough sleep at night. And so you're going to have a boundary, right, in which says that, hey, you're not going to limit your sleep time. You're going to get enough sleep each night, So you got to set healthy boundaries, Boundaries prevent distractions. Boundaries prevent distractions, right? When you have good boundaries, you're able to stay focused. You have a clear vision, right? So master your skills. Number 3, manage your money system. Manage your money system, right? It's so important to budget because budgeting promotes awareness and awareness promotes control. One way to think about budgeting is this. Budgeting is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I highly recommend that you do a zero-based budget for each month before the month begins. A zero-based budget. Basically, all a zero-based budget is this. What you do before the month begins, you think about the upcoming month and you write out all of your expected income, right? Your expected income, and then you subtract off all of your expected cash outflows for that month, right? Right. And these are all estimated numbers, of course, right? Because the month hasn't even begun yet, right? And you are estimating all of your expected income and you're subtracting off all of your expected outflows of cash, right? And what you want to do is you want to allocate all of your expected income into each category, right, of outflows, right? And hopefully you have money left over to put into the category of saving and investing, right? And so you're going to allocate all of that income so that the estimated inflow minus the estimated outflow will give you 0 at the end because you will have allocated, right? You will have budgeted, right? You will have allocated every dollar. You would have given every dollar an assignment, That's a zero-based budget. Also, use the envelope system for the food budgets, right? Envelope system. So meaning like, let's say that your food budget is $400, okay? And let's say that you go to the grocery store once a week, right? So that means like $100 each time, right? Is your budget for each visit to the grocery store. So the envelope system strategy would work like this. You would take like $100, $100, right? And put it into an envelope for each week, right? $100. So when you go to the grocery store, you only have that $100 in that envelope. And doing that, spending money out of the envelope instead of spending money out of like, a credit card or debit card, it helps you to maintain your budget, because you're able to physically see what you're spending, because when you spend using a debit card or credit card, it's like you don't feel it as much, right? And you don't have a sense of what's being spent. But if you're spending out of an envelope, right, in terms of your food budget, then it's like you are able to manage it better because you're able to physically see how much you have left over, So it's like it prevents you from overspending, right? It prevents you from spending more than what you budgeted to spend, right? So the envelope system, very, very powerful tool, right? Also, follow the framework of financial priorities, right? And on my YouTube channel, I go into this in more detail, but basically the financial priorities is basically where you have like your priorities regarding your savings, right? So first step is you want to save up to have a $1,000 emergency fund, right? That's like the first priority. Have a $1,000 emergency fund, right? And then the second priority would be to pay off all of your bad debts, right? There's a difference between good debt and bad debt, right? Bad debt is like consumer debt, right? Good debt is where it's debt that is helping you to earn more money, right? So it's like business debt, investment debt, you know what I'm saying? Like good debt. But bad debt is like consumer debt, right? And so you want to pay off all bad debt, especially the high interest bad debt, right? So that's like the second priority, right? And then, after that's done, then you go back to prioritizing your emergency fund, where you want to expand that $1,000 emergency fund. You want to expand that to be 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, right? Because you want to have a fully funded emergency fund, and a fully funded emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, right? That's saved up as your emergency money, right? And by the way, the best place to put your emergency fund will be in like a high yield savings account, right? Your emergency money should be money that you can access quickly, right? So you don't want to invest it, right? You don't want to invest your emergency money, right? Because the investments are for the long term. Your short-term money, right? Your emergency fund should be invested, or should be kept in a high yield savings account, right? Because a high yield savings account is a savings account that pays higher than a regular savings account, right? So you want to, you want your emergency fund to be making interest, but also you want to make sure that it's in a place where you can easily access it, right? So a high yield savings account is a great place for your emergency fund, right? So you follow the framework of financial priorities. Also, after you do that, after you have paid off your bad debt, and after you have fully funded your emergency fund, then you look into these other priorities like investing and everything, right? We're going to talk later about the Roth IRA and all that, So, so let's see, build and maintain an emergency fund. Very, very important to have that emergency fund, right? So that's number 3, manage your money system. Number 4, maximize your income streams. Maximize your income streams. Now, the first step in doing this is first you have to understand the 7 types of income streams. Understand the 7 types of income streams. There's W-2 income, there's business income, there's interest income, there's dividend income, there's capital gains income, there's rental income, and there's royalty income, right? 7 types of income streams, right? So you want to understand these different income streams, and you want to think about ways in which you can have multiple streams of income, right? Multiple streams of income. Also, understand the difference between active income and passive income, right? So active income is where you're trading your time for money, okay? You're working for your money, right? But passive income is where your money is working for you, right? Passive income is where you have assets that are making money for you, right? So with passive income, you are not trading your time for money, right? It's your assets are making money for you, right? And this is very important because financial freedom is when your passive income exceeds your cost of living. That's when you become financially free, when your passive income exceeds your cost of living. So you want to, be building passive streams of income, right? Very important. All right. So number 4 is maximize your income streams, especially your streams of passive income, right? Number 5, minimize your taxes, right? This is important. One of the best ways to increase your income is to minimize your tax liability, right? Legally, right? All this, you have to do it legally, right? The tax code is designed to benefit business owners and investors. That's the truth, right? The business owners and investors are the ones that are able to take the most advantage of the tax code, right? So, it's so important to, even if you are working a regular job, it's so important to have a side business, because once you open up a side business, then you are able to take advantage of tax deductions, some really great tax deductions. I should say you're able to take advantage of more tax deductions than you would be able to take advantage of if you were just solely a W-2 employee, So here's the thing. Section 162 of the tax code says that you can deduct all ordinary and necessary expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year to carry on any trade or business, right? This section 162 section of the tax code, this is one of the most important sections that gives business owners, right, the ability to take advantage of a lot of tax write-offs, right? So number 5 is minimize your taxes. Number 6, multiply your money. Understand the 3 most important wealth building tools. The 3 most powerful and important wealth building tools are: number 1, business ownership; number 2, the stock market; and number 3, real estate. Business ownership, the stock market, and real estate are the 3 most powerful tools for building wealth. And so you have to understand these tools, right? And when we talk about the stock market, you got to start early to invest. Because the earlier you start to invest, the more you will be able to take advantage of the power of compound interest, right? Now, what is compound interest? Compound interest is basically where you're making interest on your interest, right? So you invest and you're making interest on your money, but as you're making interest, right, that interest that you're making starts to make interest, right? So it's compounding. And so the earlier you start to invest, the more you can take advantage of compound interest, right? And the faster your funds will grow, right? So it's amazing. Also, understand the tax advantages of a Roth IRA. So very powerful. So with a Roth IRA, you are, it's a individual retirement account, right? It's a type of individual retirement account in which you are contributing funds, right? And you are not taking any type of, tax deduction on the contributions that you contribute into a Roth IRA. But the advantage is that the money, right, the fund will grow tax-free. And when you are in retirement age and when you're withdrawing the money from the fund, right, during retirement, that money that you withdraw is also tax-free, right? So it's a very powerful vehicle, right? So understand the tax advantages of a Roth IRA. Also understand why index funds, right, are the best type of mutual funds, right? because they're super low cost, and you're just tracking an index, a stock index like the S&P 500 index fund, right? So understand that. Also understand the importance of building and maintaining an excellent credit score, right? So we're talking about real estate, investing in real estate. By having a really awesome credit score, you're going to open yourself up to more advantages regarding real estate, even, many benefits to having an excellent credit score, right? So number 6 is multiply your money. Number 7, message your blueprint. Message your blueprint. Basically, what I'm saying here is share everything that you get, teach everything that you learn. That's important, to be a giver, because we rise by lifting others, right? Your legacy is created through the value you bring to other people's lives, right? Legacy is greater than currency, right? And so as you're building wealth, you want to start to even think about setting up a trust fund so that you can control how your assets are managed even long after you are gone, right? So this is a very basic overview of financial wellness guidance for high school students. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message, and I'll see you next time on the next video.